Caps 21 podcast. I'm Middlemarch. My
Oh, first
fooled you
mistake.
all, shocked you all, especially if you didn't read my tweet. My guest today is the one and only Piv. Piv, Caps 21 podcast, cold open. What do you think when you see this?
Oh, wow. This is something I made, but I didn't make it because that's not my version. It's a remake of my version, and it was before I made NFTs.
On this episode of the Caps 21 podcast, we pivot and mine to the heart of the depths of our Caps 21 host, Piv, who joins us as a guest. We learn about his experience coming up in crypto as a Bitcoin memer, about his rise in Ethereum starting with the Mooncats, and about his journey through the medium of punk to Glasspunk, and what is happening with Glasspunk anyway. It was a great episode, and he's a great guy.
Great, perfect.
Before the NFTs happened.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that it was, Adam Back. You know who Adam Back is?
Adam Back, no.
He's in the Satoshi paper. He's like quoted. I think he's the only person who is actually quoted in it.
Okay, Adam. See if I can
Adam Back, yes, and he's also on Twitter. He's quite big on Twitter.
Blockstream.
Indeed, Blockstream.
Okay, so this is
Yes, that's the guy.
That's a great image. Okay.
So and this guy stole the image like 10 minutes after I made it and reposted it, and then because it's a big account, it went pretty viral. So this was actually my first big thing in crypto.
So this is it. So a lot of people think, Piv, I'm just knowing who this person is and came to it's like, no, if you weren't collecting Piv back then, what year was this?
17, I think. 17, yeah. 2017.
So basically, if I may annotate this, I think what you could really say about this is this describes, to me, this is a very foreign mindset, because like now it's just like, everyone thinks, okay, well, everything's going away. But it is, at 2017, I think, a correct mindset where everyone back then who just held on, which is the word hodl, who just held on to the crypto, made money, and yet it was not actually so easy to hold on because
it's
always going down a lot and up a lot. This is the idea.
That's indeed the idea. Yeah.
And so just to be clear for the people at home, you made this meme. So this does not look like the typical Piv fair. This is like, what's an analogy from the traditional art world for this kind of thing? Like an analogy for something where, the artists, like, this is very foreign to look at this and think it was Piv.
Yeah, but it was always, I think, it was just meme. So you find a meme. There was probably a meme that looked like this, but then you bring it in the context of Bitcoin and you just change it here and there a little bit. But it was like an existing format. I don't remember what the format was, but
and so if you take
there's another one too that, and like I think if you Google it or
what is it called? I can Google it. I can pull it up.
Well, I think if you Google Bitcoin check me and me with a couple of E's, that you will find it. Check me, but me with Bitcoin check me.
Bitcoin check
with 3 E's or something.
Here we go. Check me. Check it. You made this? That's huge. Wait, can you see the image?
Yeah, but I don't see the image yet. But I think there are also probably.
Or it's of this meme. It's not this.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This is great. So you drew. Okay, so this is the earliest, and this reminds me of another meme. And if you made this one, game over for our listeners. We're making a lot of news here on the Caps 21 podcast. So this image depicts the very same sentiment you see in another very popular meme that you have, of course, heard of, but maybe didn't do, which is the guy poking Bitcoin with a stick.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Do something. So
I didn't make that one, but it was already around back then. Yeah.
And so, what does this tell you about the context of the time? I think, if you look at like NFT, Twitter, and everything, like this was a simpler meme life. You were looking for, hey, I'm checking to see if Bitcoin went up or what. I know it's going to go up eventually, and it did. Right, we're up from then, right?
Yes, it did.
I'm going to look at Bitcoin. August 2017 price 40. I should have asked you, what's the price? August 2017.
I think August 2017 was pretty exciting time, I think. It went up all the way to end of 17, and then beginning of 18, it started to crash down. So this would probably be something like in, I don't know, middle 2018, I think. This would really hit, like nothing really happens, it goes flat for...
It was up 63% for the month. That's funny. So it was at 4,700. So if you just waited for Bitcoin to do something, if you just did your homework or whatever, you would have made money. Whereas today, you can't make money in any way. So the feel good strategies from before. So what you're hearing here is that Piv got his start as a Bitcoin memer, and he only very later in his career transformed into the NFT artist you see today. So if you look at this, you see, oh, this is Piv. Like, this is like a knowledgeable, urbane, contemporary art world aware. And it's like, boom, like this is what you should be thinking about when you see Piv. This. And this should be inspirational, because if you are making memes out there, you too, someday we asked about them on the Captain 21 podcast. So what was...
There's one more. There are a couple of them, but I think there's one more you should show, and that's the one from John McAfee.
I looked for that one. That was the one I remembered, and I could not find it. And I scrolled I hurt my finger. I had to scroll all the way back in our Twitter. I couldn't find it. How do I find that one? What should I search for?
I think if you Google Bogdanov, that's where the guys, right? Bogdanov with a V and then McAfee, you might find it.
All right, here we go. This is it, huh?
That's the one.
And he retweeted it. Okay, so this is a great, so some people discovered Piv through the famous Jack. McAfee was the original Jack in a way, because this was you and he was retweeting you.
Well, Jack also Butcher. Not retweeting it, taking it and tweeting it.
Wow.
I think people, but with memes, people do it much more often. They just take it and they post it for themselves.
It is immoral. This is a very well done one. And so you had to Photoshop off the one guy's head and put it on the other, and then do the background. Yeah. So this is like a Photoshop job, basically. This is not some careless doodle.
This is indeed a Photoshop, and actually it went pretty easy. I didn't work a long time on it, but I had the luck that I found a face of this Bogdanov guy that was very lighted and
consistent with the body
of McAfee was also. So they're both like the same light, and then it fits very easy.
And how did you choose McAfee for this?
Oh, but it was like the biggest meme at the time. Everyone wanted to be Bogdanov, they called it.
So you'd put the head on someone else, and that was the format, basically. Bogdanov. Piv, are you okay? Pivy, are you okay? Are you okay, Pivy?
Hello?
Yep, back in the game.
What was the last thing you heard?
I heard, well, more focused on the last thing I said before. I think.
So why Bogdanov?
Yeah, I think what I was saying was like, you were basically saying putting people on, putting the head of the dude, on McAfee. Oh, I was saying, is McAfee a Bitcoin guy?
Yeah, McAfee was a Bitcoin guy for like 2 weeks, I think, very much into Bitcoin. And then he very easily went into all kind of shit coins. Then he made his own coin. So yeah, he was a Bitcoiner for 2 weeks.
Wow. And then he went in. And so that was the year of shit coins? Asterisk T coins, as I call them? Or what was that the voguish? This is 2018. 2018 was Bitcoin era.
There were a lot of shit coins, yeah, but it was also like a bit the start of Ethereum. It was also the period. Yeah, it was very much the period of the Bitcoin war. So when you had the fork of Bitcoin and what was the real Bitcoin?
And that was Bitcoin Cash, or I don't know anything about crypto. Bitcoin Cash.
Bitcoin Cash, yeah.
And
but there were. It was, and yeah, it was really that was. A big focus then.
So that was around. No, that was here 2021. Okay, let's go max. So right, okay, here we are, and then okay, so you're basically that thing. This is why you need context. Okay, that thing was here essentially. That tweet you just saw was here to here. So this was one of the dominant narratives right now. And Bitcoin Cash was about to experience right after your post a huge jump and then a fall Okay, but no one knew, I guess, at that point that Bitcoin Cash was going to be an afterthought in history.
It was not so clear. Yeah, it was not
It's
so
a great
clear.
name. It's a great name,
Because
really.
then there was also the other guy, fake Toshi, Craig.
Fake Toshi?
Fake, yeah. How is his name now? You don't hear that much of him anymore, but they call him Fake Toshi, like the guy who said that he was actually Satoshi.
Oh, like all these other
Yes,
guys.
these are all fake Toshi. Ah, there he is, Craig Wright. Yeah,
The number one, obviously. Okay, yeah.
yeah. But then in the beginning, he supported Bitcoin Cash together
Ah,
with Roger Ver. But then they also broke out or had trouble, and then he started his own chain. That's Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. So yeah, that was really one of the focus things at that. So I made a lot of memes against Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV too.
and okay, so Bitcoin SV, right? Bitcoin SV went up a lot, and then it came down basically in a bad situation. So you were trying to take these out, basically.
Yes.
And so that was the level of, and that's a nice thing about NFTs is if you think about the level of depth here, the things that you could hook into, the memes, and it's pure in a way. You have the charts. I guess you have the personalities behind them. It's easy for
Yeah.
me to say it was less of a rich tapestry because I wasn't there. But was the tapestry as rich, or is it less rich, or more rich?
Um, I think it's the same. I think, but
Mm.
one of the things I think because I focused so much on Bitcoin and all the things that happened there, like all the chain wars and the blockchain wars, I was pretty late with Ethereum, in fact, because I was not so focused on that. So
And then,
there are really different groups. And
and
now
so what?
I don't know so much what's happening in these Bitcoin things anymore. I know you know Udi probably.
Uvi? No.
Udi, yeah, I think with the ordinals.
Uh,
Udi,
how do you?
like the wizard, the wizard ordinals guy. He was
So I'm
also
sure.
around, I think.
Interesting. So it was some of the same. It was some of the same people, but I guess yeah, the vibe. So what was the vibe? Like, what was the? If people didn't like alternate chains, I mean, what were you seeing? Is kind of my question. If people didn't like these alternate chains, these competing things, the shitcoin, and also there was no, ordinal. What was the, anointed innovation thing going on that the establishment that the Bitcoin people liked? What did they like besides the price going up of Bitcoin? Was there some innovation that was happening that the establishment Bitcoin people liked versus all this other stuff they hated?
Well, then there was also this book from Saifedean Amos, and it was like Bitcoin is the new reserve currency. That was very much the idea then, that everything was going to be divided by Bitcoin.
Right. But still, what did Bitcoin have to do? What were people doing though? For that, if that worked, you just wait around, and that happens.
Yeah, yeah.
What were people doing?
But I think that's
Yeah, what were people? What was happening?
well, like I said, what was happening was people still had to figure out what was the real Bitcoin. But in terms of innovation, I think that Bitcoin was very much considered perfect. Well, there was this, yeah, there was this talks about blocks, that big blocks and small blocks. That was like the thing. The small blocks wanted to keep them so you could keep it on your own small computer. The big blocks said, we can use it, we can put it on servers. It doesn't matter how big it is.
There was nothing for programmers, just like randos. Like these were all like, how much was there for randos? So Ethereum. Okay, so now you see Ethereum. You get on Ethereum. A lot of people know Piv, from Foundation. So if you're interested in learning Piv's history, first of all, you already know the history. Because if you want to look at the history and you go here, you go to Foundation. This is what many people have done. Many people who don't know anything about what they're talking about go to Foundation and they search by oldest. Okay. And what they will find is some interesting stuff. But what they don't know is that they're older things. So what do you think about this? Have you seen this before? I don't think this is the exact thing that I was looking for, but I'm trying it anyway. That is this basically. I don't know what this actually means. Like what does this tweet mean? This is from September 2021. It's like a funks thing, but
Yeah,
like you just put not there or like what?
that's 2021. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
September 2021.
2021.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I don't really recall what that was, but I think it's maybe the first day that not Larva Labs showed up.
And so you were memeing that, not Lower Labs, the Funks meme that was the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
The one I was looking for that I couldn't find.
There's if you go through it, there's a lot of bad stuff in it. So
Don't go through it, everyone, unless you are preparing for an interview of Piv. You will see things you don't want to see. But no, this is not the one that I was looking for. Is honestly the truth. The one I was looking for is the we'd like to speak to the manager one.
yeah.
Where how can I find that? You know what I'm talking about? The one that won you the Funk.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So anyway,
but yeah, I
so
also think it's not so easy to search in Twitter anymore. I had like a couple of issues to find some things.
I typed in larva. It didn't really work. Yeah. So anyway, the point of the story is any old, Philistine can find the Marylands, right? And they can conclude that this is the beginning of Piv in Ethereum. Now, this is a podcast, and so we like to approach the world with a critical eye and not just take everything that comes and assume it's all fine. We have to look at it and kind of investigate why it is the case and everything. So is this, in fact, the truth of your beginning with your discourse and NFTs and everything on Ethereum, or is there something before this iconic piece? Are you frozen, Piv? Come back to us, Piv.
Are you looking for the Mooncats?
Oh, the Mooncats! Of course! I actually totally forgot this. Okay, where does Mooncats are? Where are those?
Mooncat Boutique or something.
Right, yeah. Those who are watching this probably remember from a previous podcast episode, we talked about this at one point.
Yeah.
You've seen this. All right, Mooncats Boutique. Okay, so we have this. And so the Mooncats it's really sad actually, because this is such a dope idea and aesthetic and everything. Basically, the cats were in space. Where's your stuff? Where's your stuff with the Mooncats?
How am I gonna find this?
All right. Well, you're seeing this as a podcast listener. We're bumbling a little bit, but already we're delivering a lot of value. You never knew Piv was into Mooncats unless you've watched our previous episodes in which you're already a sick person. So that's fine. Where are the Piv Mooncats?
Do you hear me?
Yes. All right. I'm looking at an old podcast episode of ours, trying to figure out. Yeah. What about this? That is the news. You can do a photo booth, so you can add these images and choose your thing here. So basically, I mean, now these images are.
This is probably the first thing I did. Should I say it? Okay.
Are you kidding?
My moon.
Wow, I really nailed it. Like you're like, this is probably the first thing I did. Okay, I already knew this. Okay, let's go back and let's. Can you hear
that accessory?
Oh my god! Oh yeah, you've shown me this. Yes. This is amazing. Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
This is so good.
Mine now only 0.07. That's a steal.
Yeah. Okay. Woman yelling at cat. Okay. Where is back to the Mooncats? Let's see if we can find this woman. Here we go. All right. And this is going to go fast. Although, what's happening right now? This is going to go fast. You've heard it here first. If you are interested in what's going on right now, get out of here. Let me reload. If you are interested in Mooncat accessories and you are liking Piv, you can see this. Now, what this is, of course, is a reference to the and this is actually, you can really sense, okay, Piv is back, or not back, but Piv is back to being the Piv I know. So this is contemporary Piv, I think, much more so than the McAfee thing, which is also great. But this is Piv in a nutshell for me. Obviously, these days he makes most of his books most of his wins referencing the contemporary art world, or the traditional art world. But this is a reference to.
This was actually a lot of work to make it, because I had to make this in this little Mooncat interface, pixel by pixel.
Wow! Well, think how much work it was for the original woman. She, I mean, had to become famous and everything. And so the idea behind the meme is you'd put something and it would be like the cat is saying, you can just imagine. And so now here we are as this, but it is an amazing rendering, I think, of the woman in a small number of colors. You can see the highlights, the detailing, like, if you've never done art before, you won't know, the highlights are hard. It's all hard. Okay. Art's hard. So anyway, woman yelling at cat, and there's a limit of 25. And there's 24 remaining. So okay, maybe you guys don't want to buy this.
The one you could have a free one. So the one that is not there anymore, I have. So
well,
not
there's
one
no,
is sold.
and you got to get your moon cats and everything. But this is a big payoff. So if you want to see you can flip it.
It flips with the cats.
Huh. So you could get the left-facing one as well. Let's see what else is in this YouTube in this podcast episode. Here we go. So this is me explaining it with another one. That's a great one. You said memes would work. I said good memes would work. Another conference. Okay, and then we in this episode go down a rabbit hole of talking about mooncats for like 20 million years and everything. So that I regret doing.
No, it's still going.
They're voting on the accessories. They're doing everything with the mooncats. But anyway, you have pips. So
the first thing I did.
This was when you cannot see it, but when was this? You can't see it. You don't get to know. I'm gonna connect my wallet on stream here. Doesn't work. Connect your mooncat. Okay. You can't tell when this was, which is unfortunate. And you can't tell who did it. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. So you have a bunch of these. I haven't even seen these before. Whoa. Look at this. Yeah, I'm in shock.
They're also... okay.
Let's, come on. Just break it down for me. Bitlord, obvious one. Great meme.
Bitlord, yeah, the first one is like the vibing cat. You know, the cat on the music? With the guy playing the drum.
Oh yeah, hold on. Vibing cat meme. Let me look here. This is a great one. This is basically this one.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And you got Bitlord. You got this one. This is Catwoman. Okay, and this is like a dead cat bounce down here.
Yeah.
Dead cat meme. And so what you see here is kind of the beginnings of the PIV meme of taking some box, in the case of Punks, famously, it's 24 by 24. Here is like the palette and the thing. It's all like its own box, and cramming memes into the box. And, things run out of the, there's like it doesn't perfectly cram, but then you look at what it is at the end and, it's like a good meme. So yeah, I think this is, but at some point you stopped doing this and started doing other stuff. But if you had done this for years, this would be your Punks. Mooncats. Yes, that would be the wrong thing to bet on though, my friend.
Yeah.
That is a big no-no. Okay, that's a big no-no. And you should not do that.
And did you see when was it? May maybe?
And you see. Can you see when it was? I don't know how you freaking do this. You can go here. Okay, you can click the name. You can claim. Oh my God, look at the supply. 250, 10 for Bitlord. Shout out Bitlord. 62. Yeah, I don't see how you actually see when it happened. I'm shocked. I wonder if this will bounce. Okay,
yeah,
so
I think it must be something like May. They were rediscovered in March 21.
Yep.
And then pretty soon they worked on it and they made this boutique. So
May of 21. And so what was the thing that brought you over from Bitcoin into being interested in any of this stuff? Because it had been going on. I mean, the punks themselves, like, you actually should be ashamed of yourself. You could have bought a punk, right?
Yeah.
In the early days, you were around. I have an excuse. I was, doing other stuff. You were around.
Not so early anymore, but these were I actually mined a couple of these mooncats when the day they were rediscovered, and it was not so fast. Also, do you know this guy? He's like one of the OGs who's and he posted something on it about it. So that was like the first thing I did, and that was actually after that it stopped a bit with these mooncats. I think it was only in July that I really looked into it again, I think.
And you figured, well, if mooncats aren't going to become huge, then I guess no NFT could ever become huge because they are the pinnacle of. So what was your first? Go ahead.
But I think punks were already expensive. I think they were like maybe 17 ETH.
But I'm saying more so that you could have gotten one in 2018 when you were doing the other memes. You could have known.
Yeah,
did you know they existed?
Yeah, that's true. But then I had no idea that it existed. No. Well, I know that CryptoKitties existed.
Right.
They were all around but it did not really interest me. I thought, that was a big hype, these CryptoKitties, and no, it didn't click with me at all. So I didn't look into it. They were all around, but people could breed them, but punks, no, I didn't know them. I knew only the CryptoKitties.
And so what was your first experience with the iconic CryptoPunks. Everyone wants to know this. This is it. We dragged this out long enough. You know, like we made them listen to all this stuff. Give them what they want. When was your first interaction with punks? Your first experience?
Well, I think it was Funks.
Wow.
I really
Boom.
think it was Funks, yeah. But it was in the minting week, I think. But how it happened, I don't really know. But yeah, I think it was for a lot of people. Like they just flip them, and that's it. That was like a funny idea.
Right.
They copied them all, but flipped.
So Funks, right? So the CryptoPunks, right? As everyone knows, the CryptoPunks are the ones that face right. That's the first thing you think of, and the CryptoPunks subvert this aspect by actually making them shape left. And so this was a huge phenomenon. This was also my first introduction to punks, basically, and it was dope. Like, I mean, this is like the it was a great marketing campaign. This was a marketing campaign by punks, right? Or no? This was at least it was welcomed by punks. No, it was not welcomed by punks.
No.
At all. And that, I think, drew a lot of people to it. People sometimes like what's not the establishment. But anyway, you can see kind of what happened here.
But I especially liked it that it was like they do nothing with it, but it is so different. If you use it as a PFP, you immediately see that it's not a punk. So I never had this issue that it was like copying punks. It's so different. It's so obvious that it's different.
Right. Well, then of course there is the would it even be what if they didn't even flip them? Would that be different? But yes, I agree. It is different. Especially with the social phenomenon. Here we have Claudia Crypto. Shout out, Claudia. You really do get a sense for it being like a different person. And especially with the hex, you sort of get this sense of like, oh, this is like a really... Anyway, so this was something. And why is it that both of us first learned about punks, through this? I didn't first learn about it really, probably. I've heard, but first like actually engaged with it. First like started to kind of like it. And so did you get a funk? What was your first... Okay, so obviously you owned a crypto, whatever, the kitty, the mooncat, maybe. Funks are still relevant today, I will say that. Obviously, they gave birth to PIV, so they can't be doing that bad. Were Funks the first NFT that you owned that is still relevant today? Or like, what did you get a funk?
Yes. I bought a couple of them. I didn't mint one, but I bought like 3, and Paulie sent me one too, so I have 4 funks.
Damn. Why did Paulie send it to you?
Because of the manager meme,
which I can't find. So basically, PIV made a meme. Okay, there was this thing back then called Karen, which was a U.S. phenomenon of someone like asked to speak to the manager, and the idea is that's like a passive, it's like an aggressive like thing you can do. Anyway, the joke was that Larva Labs were asked to speak to the manager of the crypto store when they were saying take down punks.
Yes, indeed.
And that was a funny idea because there is no manager of the crypto store, and that's the whole point of the crypto store. It's like one of a kind store. So basically, as I understand it, Paulie had a meme contest. PIV made the meme, and Paulie sent PIV the funk. And so that's kind of a funny thing, right? Because Paulie, like, and I have no comment on everyone's like or dislike for Paulie, but what I would say is if you like or dislike Paulie, it's interesting because Paulie was the first person to reach out to PIV from the world of contemporary NFTs. And so if you dislike Paulie, you should ask yourself, well, why didn't I reach out to PIV? PIV was there. You could have done it. So that's, I think, a very interesting detail. That's just true. Whether or not...
I think we really started very, very close together. He was also then in this funks, and it must maybe the same week. I don't know, but close, very close, yeah.
So the funks, I guess, the funk. It's not like Paulie made funks or whatever. So punks got Paulie to start too, and then you as well, and then me later. Quite impressive. Yeah. Quite impressive. So then, okay, now that's it. Basically, that's the dawn for a contemporary PIV lover. Like, if you love PIV, you don't have to go back before funks. You can. You just did. You listened to this whole podcast episode, but you don't have to, because if you start then, you can trace a through line all the way to today. Not that everything you've done has been punk related, but certainly it's been a meme that you do a lot of punk stuff, and also the vibe. So I think now we can finally go. Everyone's been waiting for this moment. We can close that video aspect. We can finally go to 6 Marylands. Would you say that it's finally appropriate?
Yep.
So this is it. If you are looking at this, you might think to yourself, this could have been done yesterday. This feels so fresh, so full of life. Well, probably it actually couldn't be done yesterday. It's pretty basic in a way relative to what's going on now, but it's pretty darn good. And yet, this was years ago. It was a long time ago, January of 2022. This is it. This is how I discovered PIV. This is how a lot of people discovered PIV. What's the story of 6 Marylands?
Yeah, one of the funny things is that it's not. So there's this one punk that is actually considered as a Maryland with wild blonde, but I had no idea of that yet. So I just took a Maryland that I thought that looked like, or a punk that I thought that looked like Maryland. And the idea was just to have the different eye colors, different backgrounds, so to mimic Warhol's work with what was in the punks of colors. And then this was also like a bit still in the time of copying, which was a result of the funks, and it were print screens, so they are like all a bit different,
right? And
which
so
is also something that is in Warhol's piece, that they're all a little bit different. They're not just exact copies of Marilyn.
Right. So in that regard, it's very un-PIV, because PIV has, very strict, it's more pop art. Exactly. Like if you look at like this, which is like one of them, Warhol did like a ton of these. They're all worth like $1 bajillion. So pick any of them. They're pretty good. So this is Warhol, right? And then this is PIV. And right, what you see is they're both a little bit messy, right? Like, what is that little sliver of background brown? That's not really a pixel. And here we have it's a whole mess, and it's cool. It's dope. So my question is it a different form of art? This is then kind of more pop art, something that fits the grid in a way than your later work. So this is kind of a unique piece in that regard. It's different genre in a way, no? You're print screening. Like he did his silk screening thing. You're kind of print screening, whereas the other style is is kind of something I don't totally understand. We'll look at it. So this I saw. So there's a bunch of interesting touch points on this. Okay. First of all, we have the description. So this is how I saw it. Although I think my wife actually showed it to me. Shout out to my wife. I know. Yeah. Ryder Rips at the time was doing criticisms of people's stuff, and they would tweet at it. He would, tweet your picture, and then he would say if it's good or bad. And almost everyone he said was bad. And PIV here, in a very modest way, omits the rating he got, which was 9 out of 10, which is pretty much as high as you can get. Like, how these people are, like, they're not going to give anyone a 10 out of 10. So 9 out of 10 is pretty much the best. So Ryder came out hot on this one. Jack Butcher, Visualized Value. Okay, this gentleman who later collaborated with PIV on O'Pepin, which we'll get to, and is overall a huge meme and a good dude. And so he bought it. Okay, and not pictured as me seeing this and realizing and liking PIV. So that's not pictured, and there are a lot of big names here, but yeah, so, I guess when did this come out, right? February 19th. So, oh no, the Ryder thing happened way before this, though. You minted it after the Ryder thing.
Yeah.
And it came out, and then Jack bought it. So, Paulie and then Ryder, I don't know if Ryder knew Paulie knew you, but both of them were super early, and both controversial figures, and super early in the PIV train, and they look left. So this was it. And so what did you think when all this happened? Did you think, wait a minute, like this is like, because you go back, right? You look at oldest first, right? Then you start to see pattern emerge. They're all punks. And this is more about this is back to the Mooncat in a way.
Back to the memes, yeah.
Back to the memes. But what was it that let you, this is February 9th, February 20th. Okay, so this was, you were putting up old stuff at the time, but just like, what's the deal? Like, how did you know? Did you have any sense that this was going to become a meme for you?
That punks were becoming a meme? Or
that you were going to do 10 trillion punk things?
If I knew that, no, I did not know.
It was one at a time.
But it is something nice to work with, because they are so iconic. So
it is the true, but you know the traditional art world. Like, what is the name for this? I guess there were some famous mistakes in the crop things, but either the Wojak or, more importantly, the skeleton, which is like one of your favorites, I know. It is an iconic thing, but you are not doing the print screen thing. You're not doing pop art. You are sort of trying, it's like it's this is, I think, some of the beautiful stuff is it's not like so clear if you're like playing on it, if you're looking at, if you're putting, like, it's not like you're putting in quotation marks, like the Marilyn Warhol stuff is very much in quotation marks, but like, it's not clear if it's what it is. Like you could be, Larva Labs could release a punk that looks like this and say this is part of our universe, and yet, when you look at Wojak, you are obviously memeing, so obviously this cannot be part of the punk universe, but it is a sort of different, form of pop art.
At some point, I just thought I want to go in every direction, so it's not. But it has to do something with punks. That's actually the idea of the punkism collection. But it can indeed go in any direction, yeah. Because I also liked making these abstract pieces that could be just like an abstract piece that you find in a museum by one of the artists, but it is still a part of a punk, or there is a punk background. But it could, in terms of composition, it could be just one of these abstract things you see in a museum.
Right. So that's actually a good point. Yeah, this has nothing to do aside from that. So this is pretty conceptual in that way. Like no one looking at this is going to say, "Oh, it's like Andy Warhol with Andy Warhol never did like this with Marilyn Monroe, right? He didn't take like her lips and put it up here, and you think it's abstract. Did Warhol ever like photograph Marilyn Monroe? Or no? I guess she died before. What was the? When did she write? Oh no, okay, so she died according to this webpage in 1962. So anyway, that's kind of a okay, and so this is punkism. So obviously these are all punk things, and you can just see this, and it's insane. I own several of these, and it's dope. Here you can see a couple of interesting ones, right? Okay, I'm just stumbling upon this right myself right now. So look at this. This plus this, right? And this is glass punk. This is early glass punk. Indeed. Wow, you just combine those two things. I love it. And then, oh wow, you actually don't have that many of these. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is, is there a reference on this? Right, this is March. This is a while ago. Okay, so that's dope. So then, what else do we have going on? Well, let's see. We have, and then there is this.
Yeah.
Remember this?
I remember, yes.
So that was the first interaction we had over this. This is December. We're jumping around a little bit in time. Pumping my punk collection. Dude, I love your work. So that's it. If you ever want to reach out to someone you like, just say, dude, I love your work. Okay, so
March
where are we?
2nd. So this
March
was
2nd. Our first interaction. I was working on Fashionette punks, which were, you put the hats on the punks, and then I came up with the idea of, because then I did this based on what you did. I came up and I was able to do this. And this was kind of like the beginning of like our thing in a lot of ways, like, me putting your thing on a lot of stuff. And so where can we go? I'm purposely trying to avoid our stuff because like, I don't know if, but what I will say is we later went back and we did it the real way with the Marilyns, although this is a confusing image. Maybe this was a confusing project. We did the real Marilyn, and we did the actual diptych with some dark colored squares, and all these are punk colors. And it's sad because like whatever it was at the time and the energy and everything, like I don't know. This is like some pretty great stuff. This is our first ever collaboration. This is pretty good, and we kept the supply low. And it's just like it's not like poetry gets better as you get older necessarily.
But you saw some of the footage and images of the exhibition. It looked really great there, I think.
So so then
in Tokyo.
How do we see that?
How do we see that? It was maybe it was a bit lost in the Opapen and its inscription days because it was in the middle of that.
No, I remember looking at it. I just don't remember how to get it. Oh no, I think it's in the capsule chat somewhere. We started a thing called Capsule 21. You're watching that right now. Okay, so just relax. Okay, here we go. All right, I knew where this was. I knew how to get it.
Yeah, this is,
and that's the default punk. And I mean, this was all pretty good.
I think they were going through the whole collection for both, so that's cool.
This is another interpretation, but I think for me, like, it's just it hit all the notes. The Marilyns thing, and then the other thing, the squares thing that we did. But I don't want to. Okay, so I want to be respectful of our viewers because there are reader questions, I hope they're viewers. I actually did not ask. I posted on Twitter. Anyone have any ideas for questions? And I did not specify you have to be a viewer. Otherwise, because the viewer question segment. But it seems good. So we got to ask those. And then I want to talk about your 2 recent projects to get those some love. But first, just quickly, okay, just no big deal. A super iconic collection here. This was July 2021. So this is actually this messes up our entire timeline. This is pre-Funks. No, when did the Funks mint?
No. This was after Funks.
After Funks. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but shortly after. Yeah.
And so, how did you have the idea to do this?
I don't know, but there were like several collections. You had the Funks, you had then the what were the others with fast food punks, I think.
Right. Got it. Yes. Okay, so you were riffing on this idea.
So yeah, it was just okay. Let me do a punk collection too, and that was it.
Such a good call. Anyway, Excel Punks. Where's the volume? 10 total volume. Pretty good one. They're in the Excel color palette, but overall, very, very dope. And so now, why don't we just do a little thing? Fast forward, okay, to the thing you've been waiting to see, people. This is it. So this was Piv's first Opepin set, when you're watching this. And what you will see is, well, what do you see? So what is Opepin? Opepin is where you take the single image. Where is that? Can you see it here? I don't know how you get to OpenSea from this.
If you click on one on the below, you go to OpenSea, and then you probably can go to the entire collection.
Okay, so Opepin is this basically. It's a abstract, minimalistic drawing of the frog, and there are a lot of them, and they are being now turned into actual filled-in art things by artists. And Piv is the dopest one, or a dope one, no pressure. And you can see them here. And so what this did, I think, was gave Piv a really interesting chance to do the punk meme plus the traditional art world thing, you know, and those are the same thing. Like when you reference traditional art and you reference punks, it's really the same thing. You know, it's like how when, people know a lot about baseball and then people know a lot about World War II, right? The World War II person is deemed to be better than the baseball person, but it's all the same. So a quick, what do you have to say about this? 6 monuments in art history on the 6th. Oh my God. Wow. I don't know about this. On the 6th anniversary of deployments. This is even better.
Yeah.
And so you can see in this, right, a pretty clear, throwback to the one that I own, me, this one. Okay, Suprematist was basically this form of abstract art. What would you say about this? Suprematism. So I'm just doing this for people because it's not supremacist.
It's suprematism, and make it more complex all the time. But they liked making abstract compositions. I think that's what.
How did you pick the colors in this one?
Well, it is actually based on one of the real ones. But the funny thing is that this is the second version. I made one first, and then Jack said, but it doesn't really fit into the circle. So then I remade it, and this fits pretty nicely in a circle if you put it as a PFP.
Wow, smart.
So, so it is actually the second version of it. But it is somewhat inspired on the real piece and the colors also. So these are like pretty basic colors: yellow, red, blue, and black.
Very nice. This one is good. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, that's an iconic.
It's considered one of the most shocking revolting scenes in cinema history. I don't even know if we can show you this on TikTok. But it's the moment from 1929's On Chien Andalou where one of the characters takes a razor blade to a woman's eye, slicing it, and spilling out this clear jelly-like substance. There's not much of the gory special effect, but it's the tightness of the editing that creates tension.
Oh, disgusting. So this is a very funny one because...
It is a funny one, but I think it's this one and the Mid-Journey are maybe the least loved ones, but I still think they are good in the collection. It's good to have like a couple of really prima donnas and then a sidekick. So
But
I think they're good
this
sidekicks.
But this one, I mean, I can understand the Mid-Journey one because it's like a little confusing. It's V4, it's like I think it tries to touch into a specific thing where maybe people don't experience it. But this, even if you don't get it, right, it's very, striking, and then it's just hilarious because, of course, in the thing, it's horrifying when they cut the eye, but here it's just a geometric shape. So it's not, it completely subverts the entire really good stuff. Of course, the alien, it's got to be one of one from the punks. Really only one from the punks, I guess. There were other options. And then Marilyn, you submitted one OPEP, and I did not reveal. I do want to buy one of these. They're just so darn expensive. I'm thinking of selling my currency and buying one because, like, Damien Hirst, like, he's so overexposed. Like, what's the upside there? But I'm so down on it. I just don't want to. This is the other thing.
I think the currency, it's indeed, but yeah, I think it will have a new life as well. The currency, it's not very much in the picture, but when new people flow in and they hear about this, but what do I know?
Sorry, you broke up there, but I get what you were saying. I'm going to be fine. You're saying WAGME.
No, I was talking about the currency, that I think that it will have a new interest when new people come in and they find this early Hearst collection.
Right. So that's why, I'll hold it there. Maybe great expectations I'll sell, but I'm going to get one of those suprematist things, so don't raise your prices after you. So this is just a quick Simpsons clip that reminds me of you, Piv. I think I have played this for you before, but let's just do it quickly.
That is the rarest gummy of them all. The gummy Venus de Milo, carved by gummy artisans who work exclusively in the medium of gummy.
Will you two stop saying gummy so much?
Anyway, the idea is that the gummy Venus de Milo, it's made by people who spend their whole life in the medium of gummy. And so you might say that the alien is kind of the punk-ism Venus de Milo, would you say? Like in terms of, did I lose you, Piv? In terms of, I'm back. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Is this the punk Venus de Milo?
Or
made by an artist who spent his life in the material of punk, in the medium of punk.
The medium
rarest punk of them all. I mean, this is the rarest one.
It's I don't know what it is, but it's I think the Simpsons clip is really good. With the medium of gummy is really the medium of punk for me. So
yes, exactly. And I was making just the more crass point that this is the most expensive thing you've ever made, or no? I guess you've had sales of the other ones.
Well, it's not sold, but one of the Marylands was sold. So when is it most expensive?
Yeah, it's got to be sold.
One of the Marylands sold for $8 or so. So yes, that's. But yeah, here it's also in the medium of opapen, so that adds a lot of value to it.
True. Yeah, very true. So yeah, but I guess you haven't really pushed it with the reserve sale. That sounds even more expensive. So so this is all-time high sale for those freaks out there who are obsessed with the crass, dollars and cents. Okay, so that is the past. Piv's entire life, including this, has all been leading up to one thing and one thing only. Boom! The Glass Punk. This, very famously, was Piv's open edition. Piv decided that why be on someone else's open edition meme when you can create your own meme? And, why not do both, really? That's what Piv is doing. He's doing both. It's an even smarter strategy. But anyway, Piv launched his own open edition. It sold a bunch and had a crucial element to it, which was a very brilliant move, Piv. I don't know if you really knew it, even you were doing. I certainly did until later. It was semi-transparent. And when something is semi-transparent in this type of format, I generally think that is terrible, because I think that the artist should say exactly how it's supposed to look and not leave it to idiots to do. And then Excel Punks famously also, where's Excel Punks? I don't know where I put it. Excel Punks famously also transparent, like this will show up on a white background on a white screen.
Yeah.
Okay. And that I thought was like cool, and it's old and it's obviously shared contract, but like I would never ever be down for that. But Piv is smarter than even I am, because what Piv realized is that when you have transparency, where even is it? Oh, it's like X is dark colored now. when you have transparency, you actually can pack in like 10 trillion more images into one. It's not just like looking weird when people do it. You can put a zillion things in, so you can put a lemon in it. So talk to us a little bit about your process with the glass punk.
Mm-hmm. Well, but it was really something I realized very late, because the main idea is what's also in the text, and that I wanted to make. Yeah, they have this like light L2 chain.
Right.
So I wanted to make something very light and ephemeral and small, just these pixels, as you see there, like a little image. And that was actually what I wanted to make, and I still think that's a good idea too. But then I realized that it has possibilities to make them unique, or to put something in them, or to change it by using another background. But yeah, I realized it quite late, and we will work on it, and we will do something. But it was not pre-planned. It was not like going to do it like this. It went the other way around.
Was O'Peppin pre-planned?
I don't think it was in the way it is. No, I don't think so. No.
Who could ever pre-plan something that, you got to just see, and you got to hope and pray that you...
Because part of it also depends on what I really expected, but I had no idea. But what I expected with Glasspunks was that there were going to be like 300 mints, maybe 300 to 500. So then you have a small open edition project. But then you get 7,000, and then it's something different.
Right, because if you have 300 of the same thing, every person might think, well, I wish mine was different, but it's not that bad. But if it's 7,000 of the same thing, people are like, Meanwhile, they deserve nothing. They absolutely deserve nothing. If you're listening to this, you deserve nothing. Okay, you got what you got. It was cheap. You paid a very low price. You get anything, you should be happy, because you deserve something, but just you don't actually. But this is a great one. So this is again traditional art world. I assume Irving Penn took that photograph. This is an amazing concept, because you can. I don't think anyone has. I've never seen anything like this, like a format.
The thing I like about it too is that it's like a punk is you put traits on top of a face, but here it's like the other way around. You put them behind the face, or in the face, or all the traits come behind it.
Yeah, and it's abstract enough, and like whatever, like you don't even have to think of it as the punk. I mean, the one with the lemon is kind of abstract composition in a way. Like, here we go, still life, abstract.
By the way, the red one you saw, just a bit, this one. This is also made with the green glass punk. So there's another color behind it, so you can actually change the color of the glass too.
So you can achieve that color through the green. Pink Floyd art. So yeah, I mean, I think this is and what I will say about this also is that when it comes to formats, there is always the risk of it be format geometrical, minimalistic, contemporary, like formats often. I'm just talking about O'Peppin, which I think really works amazing for this. But if you try to do something that's huge, and you have a trouble with doing something that's huge, I think. But this is like very refreshingly, depending on the context, like this is very refreshingly, and not just because the bubbles thing, it's very refreshingly kind of not dirty and like non-clean. It's just like a glass. It's not like some crystal clean thing. Like it's like a cool it's very playful in that way, very accessible. You could show this to a child, and this is dope. So anyway, to reader questions. Okay, sorry, I know this is the part of the podcast I hate the most. Whew. That's a Simpsons reference. And next is a very special segment. What is that? Reader questions. Oh my god, no. I'm kidding. It's Krusty the Clown. Okay, here we go. Let's go down here, because this is one person I replied to. So I said, will there be a reveal for Glass Punks on this episode? And if no, will there be a reveal for Glass Punks?
There will be a reveal, yes. But not on this episode.
News. That's amazing. It's funny, I'm surprised no one in these questions asked me to ask you what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever had happen to you. Like, that's the real question, like every interviewer wants to ask, but you can't. There's a famous. You ever heard of the movie Metropolitan, a Whit Stillman movie?
No, no.
It is a well, anyway, it's like if you're me in college in the early 2000s. Well, here.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
Okay, I can't find it, but anyway, they're like it's like college kids in you should watch the movie.
Okay.
It's college kids in New York. Anyway, they're at a party and they're playing like Truth or Dare, and one guy's never played Truth or Dare, and so it's like, okay, truth, and it's like, okay, ask some embarrassing question, and the guy says, okay, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you? And they're like, no, you can't just ask that, you have to do, but like that is the okay.
Yeah, I get it.
When reveal, you get it, great. When reveal, which is Piv's favorite? Okay, now we're good job, Achilles. All right, okay.
In the set.
I assume he means this set. They mean this set. What else would they possibly mean?
I really think that's hard to say. I really think I like them as a set, but I can't really say that I have a preference. No.
Okay, so if you had to,
if I could have one.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Choose one or they all die.
I think it would be a Marilyn too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it would be a Marilyn. Yeah.
Back in the game. Okay. All right. So you heard it, Achilles. I forced him to do it, so you're welcome. Okay. Now we got Jeremy, who is a punketist himself, creator of expansion punks and a bunch of other cool stuff. Does he, I think he means Piv, does Piv filter all his creative thoughts through a punk construct, i.e., does Piv's brain operate in a 24 by 24 grid? So the glass punk is 24 by 24, yes? Because the NFT, when I minted it, I looked at the image, it was 3,000 by 3,000. I was like, wait a minute. And I did a little quick math. I was like, I see what Piv did here. There's not actually that much information here. I sized it all the way down. And I ETH-scribed it. So yeah, can you visualize the grid? Do you have any particular relationship with the grid?
But I think it's a good question, but like filter all your creative thoughts through the punk construct. But I really think it goes the other way around. The ideas often come in groups, I think, or the good ideas comes in groups, like in the same period of time, and then you have like weaker periods and better periods. For the good periods, it's like the punks are very on top of your unconsciousness, I think. You can't really consciously think about them, like now can I use them, but they have to like very close in your mind, if that makes sense. So whenever you see something, you like immediately translate it into a could I use this as a punk or as a punk ID? So it is like the one with the cigarette with the lipstick on, the punk cigarette with the lipstick on.
I try to find it.
It's not at all, but this is something I literally saw on the street. I saw like this a cigarette butt with lipstick on. Yeah, this, and then I immediately thought, okay, I could translate that to the punk trait.
And
maybe the picture is even. Isn't it under it as a comment?
Oh wow!
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so European, like that moss or whatever growing between the like cobblestone thing. Like in America, it's just smooth, paid over garbage. Just someone interpreting. And then of course you have.
You can't consciously think about it, but unconsciously it has to be like on top of your head to immediately translate it into something, whatever you see.
Right. So if you see something, it could also be a meme, by the way. If you see a meme,
yeah, it can be a meme, or it can be art, or it can be a cigarette on the ground.
It's got to, what is the way that you twist it? What is the sort of lens? Because you can't just be creative. I think that's kind of the point. You can't just be creative. I mean, some people can maybe, but you have to have some hook thing to something, and then you try to hook it on there.
Yeah.
I'm not describing this very well, but there is just no way to, in the total abstract, at least it's really hard, I would say.
Yeah. If I really go and sit down to make something, I think I always end up with the abstract ones, like the abstract compositions, but I don't really have a sharp idea in them.
Right, that's true. I guess an abstract composition, this was the whole point of that art movement, right? Or that can be like a way to express yourself in a pure way without having to be locked into a specific medium tradition, which is pretty good. Okay, so I just searched, all right, and I found the earliest tweet of yours that mentions the word punk. It's from July 15th, 2021, so not that long ago. Do you remember what it is?
July 15.
2021.
Yeah, it will probably be something with funks and punks too.
Boom. So what is this a reference to? I feel like it looks like, it seems like...
Isn't it like the funk?
The funk saying that to the...
Yeah.
This is a great one too, because you can tell the text of the tweet is very much not like NBD. Like, when was the last time you said NBD? Let me check you out here. We are going deep. We are going deep here with Piv.
Yes. But I wrote it down. It's just a sketchbook.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can't. That's your only tweet ever saying NBD. I knew it. Now this, I think, is. Now here we go. We start to see. Although you weren't tweeting Excel Punks, you didn't really tweet Excel Punks until much later. This is fast. I guess I got to show you what I'm scrolling on. You didn't get to tweet Excel Punks until much later, September. You tweeted this one.
No, well, there was. I did, but I did make this first one, and it was of the ape, and it was this ape.
You used the word punk.
I probably didn't. Yeah, I don't know, but it was quite a popular tweet. The first one of the Excel punks. It was this one, but
okay.
This is. I still think that this is quite kind of funny. The meme one there in the context of this, a bit lower. Yeah, this one,
yeah, that's Wojak.
Yes, but it was very much also the punk versus funks, and like the chat is looking left, and the Wojak is looking right. So
that's a Chad. I thought Chad was the guy with the huge chin.
Yeah,
the other thing, but maybe this is the last. Yeah, it is funny that in our Well, because we all, it's you're supposed to see yourself as the Wojak, I think, and that's maybe why. Jesus Christ, the chess thing.
Yeah, go through this.
Are you like some chess savant or whatever? Like, how do you know all this stuff? Are you good at chess?
Not super good, no. I played it in school quite a lot, but
Wolfenstein 3D, we've talked about that before. Botero Punk, wow! I don't think I've seen this. I was around then. Maybe I did. Sort of like. Oh, this is cool. The Botero Punk is hilarious. Botero Excel Punk, I guess. They all are. They're also the Excel colors.
Yeah, I think so. This is probably something I made starting with an Excel Punk.
Yeah, throw it all together. Punk soup. Okay. All right. So there you have it. Basically, ooh, that's nice. There you have it. The iconic Piv. We've touched on. Oh, this is an amazing one. Why did he paint that? What was he thinking? Skeleton? Oh, this is amazing too. So yeah, I mean, it would take 1,000 podcast hosts 1,000 years to ask Piv about everything he's ever done. It's a lot. I recommend scrolling on his Twitter. What you will find is there's a lot of depth to the backstory here, and even if you don't want to do that, you can just appreciate the contemporary work because it in some way contains the depth and backstory. This has been the Capsule 21 podcast. Thank you, Piv. You've been an amazing guest, and it's been so freeing to be the only host. Maybe I'll be a guest someday. No pressure. Okay, no pressure. You've been an amazing guest, Piv. Is there anything you would like to leave the readers with? What should they be buying right now? Let's be honest. If you had to tell them, if you could force them, if you could take all of their money and put it in your own pocket, what should they look at? What should they buy? Do you have any new thing out they can buy? I guess they already bought a lot of the recent one.
Yeah, they bought a lot of the
there you have. You don't have to do anything. You do not have to buy a thing.
Well, I have to work. I have to work on these glass punks now too.
You see, this is what you did.
Yeah,
this is what you did. This has been the Capsule 21 podcast. I am your host, Middlemarch. My guest has been Piv. This has been an amazing episode of the Capsule 21 podcast, coming at you every week for an entire year to the rest of our lives. We will never have ever a break in the Capsule 21 podcast. If you would like to appear on the Capsule 21 podcast, or you have a guest question for a reader, You can find me on Twitter at dumb name numbers. Piv is piv_piv, i.e. VIP backwards, again, underscore. And we are Capsule 21. If you are listening to this, you are next, and we are next week with another episode of the Capsule 21 podcast. Peace.